Rain gardens have become popular and attractive methods for home gardeners to decrease the impact of their impervious surfaces and to protect water quality. Impervious surfaces include roadways, rooftops, parking lots, and sidewalks. Impervious surfaces prevent the natural infiltration process that occurs when rainfall reaches forests, fields, and open areas. Instead of adding to groundwater supply, stormwater flushes the landscape, often leading to increased flooding, erosion, sedimentation, and damage. Rain gardens are used to help rebalance our water budget and protect water quality. Rain gardens are landscape depressions that receive stormwater runoff and allow that runoff to slowly infiltrate to the groundwater table. As well as intercepting stormwater runoff that could have added to flooding problems, the rain garden also allows nature to play a role, removing some of the pollutants that would have otherwise affected water quality. During infiltration, plants use excess nutrients for growth. Sediment is trapped in the garden, and biological processes remove pathogens. Dissolved metals and nutrients bind or are absorbed to soil particles and are removed temporarily out of the system. So let's get started. Where do we put our rain garden? Typically, rain gardens are installed to treat rooftop, lawn, and driveway runoff. From a rooftop downspout, the water can travel through a gutter, extender, or from a hose connected to a rain barrel. If having a gutter extender over the lawn troubles you, it can be buried underground until it reaches the rain garden. Remember, we want to intercept the water before it reaches surface waters or low spots. It is very important to watch how water flows during a storm event. So where exactly should that rain garden go? At least 10 feet from the building foundation, and at least 25 feet from the septic system drain field. Avoid shallow water tables, that is, less than 18 inches deep, and make sure your rain garden is away from utility lines. Ensure there are no buried cables or pipes in the excavation area. And if possible, place your rain garden in full to partial sun. So how do I know if my yard is a good location for a rain garden? A simple perk test or percolation test can help you to decide. Dig a hole about 6 inches deep and wide. Fill the hole to the top with water. How many inches does it drop in an hour? Ideally, the water should drop between 1 and 6 inches in an hour. Check the hole after 24 hours. If the water is gone, you have an ideal rain garden location. Remember, the ability of rainwater to drain is important for your rain garden location. What size should our rain garden be? First, determine the area of your impervious runoff source, or your catchment area. This might be a rooftop, or sidewalk, or driveway, or a combination. Rule of thumb: estimate the size of your rain garden based on your soil type. If you have a sandy soil, you have well-drained soils, and your rain garden can be 20% of the impervious area. If you have loamy soil or poorly drained soil, you want to make sure your rain garden is at least 30% of the impervious area, if not upwards of 50 to 60%. So let's do an example. If you have a rooftop drainage area of 25 feet by 25 feet, this would equal 625 square feet of catchment area. So therefore, your required rain garden area at 20%, let's say you have very sandy soil, should be 125 square feet. You may be limited by space, but smaller is easier. The area should typically be 8 to 10 feet wide in the direction of runoff flow. Try using a kidney bean or half-moon shaped layout with the inner curve of the area facing the runoff source. Rain gardens are typically designed to store and infiltrate a 1-inch storm. In cases where a storm will produce more than 1 inch of rain in 24 hours, excess water should be able to leave the rain garden via an overflow. Also, a berm will help keep water in the rain garden so that it has time to infiltrate. For best results, it is recommended that a rain garden depression be approximately 6 to 8 inches deep. What is the best soil mix for a rain garden? Consider the existing soil for drainage and organic content. Start with your native soil and amend to get the desired results. Mix well in the excavated area. So a rain garden soil mix should compose of 50 to 60% sand, 20 to 30% compost, and 20 to 30% topsoil, give or take. Now for the fun part. Once the depression has been established, the next step is installing plants. Options include small trees, shrubs, perennials, and grasses. Hardy species with a range of drought and wet condition tolerance is essential. Consider your native plant species. Remember, our native plant species are typically used to these conditions. Your rain garden is going to be very wet at times, and then it will also experience times of drought. Plants that attract butterflies and hummingbirds can be used. And reference your Clemson Carolina Clear Rain Garden Manual for a more extensive plant list. After the plants are installed, the rain garden should be mulched with 3 to 4 inches of hardwood mulch. Be sure to use cedar mulch. Pine bark is too lightweight and could float out with the next storm. And remember, water, water, water. It is extremely important to have a plan for watering and maintaining the garden. So what are the maintenance requirements? Typically, rain gardens don't require very much maintenance, but as you well know, there is no such thing as a no-maintenance garden. So maintain that plant growth by trimming and removing unwanted plants. Clear debris from inlets and outlets. Water plants if needed. Replace mulch as needed. Oftentimes this is going to be needed 1 to 2 times a year. And scrape the top 1 inch of soil as needed to reduce clogging. Remember, you want your rain garden to remain a depression. So why plant a rain garden? Let's recap. Rain gardens are appealing landscape ideas for homeowners and HOAs. Rain gardens allow for the collection of stormwater and infiltration and protect water quality downstream. Plants and microbes in rain gardens do the work of the pollutant removal. They can be an attractor for wildlife such as birds and butterflies, and rain gardens are a natural way to irrigate.